Hello and welcome to Overdrive. Now, you've already heard of ADAS or Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, but have you heard of ARAS or Advanced Rider Assistance Systems? Well, as the name suggests, it is ADAS functionality, but for two-wheelers, for motorcycles, for riders, right? So how is it different than ADAS? Telling us all about it is Avinash from Bosch. Welcome to Overdrive, Avinash.
Hello.
So I think what immediately we want to know is how is ARAS different than ADAS?
Right. So definitely this is inspired from the four-wheelers. Now, from the four-wheelers, we remove two wheels out of it. Then we have a two-wheeler, which is way more fun because it has more controls. Now, compared to a four-wheeler, a motorcycle can lean in as well. So this is fun, but also increases the complexity. Now, the ARAS systems have to work the same way with this extra complexities around it. And also the riding motorcycles is slightly different from driving cars, where on a highway cars would go neatly one behind the other.
Right.
But if a group of motorcycles are riding, so they form something called as a staggered riding, where they split the lane and with some gap between each other they ride. So here the systems detect that it's a staggered riding and then adapts ACC towards it. Now for the riders in a car, there are ways you can tell that, hey, watch out. So here on motorcycles also, we have tried to warn the riders in a very specific way, where we set a threshold, for example, from the vehicle in front of you. You cross threshold number 1, you start seeing lights saying that, hey, watch out, there's a vehicle you might collide into.
Right.
The rider doesn't respond, you go to a threshold number 2, the brake starts pulsing automatically, so giving you a slight judder, saying that, hey, wake up,
Wake up, yeah.
basically there's a vehicle in front of you. So we have these kind of unique things where we have tuned ARAS for motorcycles.
Okay, and since you are into the development bit of it as well, like we've seen multiple levels within ADAS, 1, 2, 3, 4. So is there multiple levels within ARAS as well that is probably being developed, or it's already there?
Right. So right now what we have is we do have a function of autonomous braking, where even though the rider is not really applying, it can apply the brakes by itself. Now, of course, because motorcycles are very complex, now even though we have the capability of increasing the pressures drastically like how in cars, it might be dangerous for the rider if he's not ready for it. So we do have a lot of complexities like this which we are taking in and working things around, but right now this is basically what we have.
Right. And if you were to sort of just give us a quick breakdown, what are the different bits that you get within ARAS? What can the motorcycle do as a part of the ARAS suite?
Right. So here I would split ARAS into two things, a warning function and an actuation function. Now the motorcycles are fit with two radars, one in the front and one in the back, so that it knows what the vehicle in front and back is doing. Now if the vehicle in front is slowing down, now we know cruise control. So basically we have a version of it which is adaptive cruise control. So it adapts the speed of the vehicle to the vehicle in front. Now similarly on the back radar, it always keeps checking what the rider behind you is doing. If he's getting close, warning is given both to the rider as well as the vehicle behind, where it can even flash and say that, hey, watch out, I am on the road. Mainly because for two-wheelers, majority cause of accidents on highways because the four-wheelers can't really notice the bike. Either they can't notice because of its size, or they can't figure out how fast the bike is going. So this is where it comes in. Now we have adaptive cruise control, we have blind spot detection, we have forward and rear collision warning. We can set something called as a riding distance that we can set, beyond which we get all these functionalities. So this is basically what we have in a nutshell.
Okay. And right at the start, you mentioned that it can detect that you're riding in a staggered formation. Now, of course, motorcyclists or bikers, they ride in multiple kinds of formations. The staggered formation, maybe you might be out for your solo ride in the mountain roads, and then you might suddenly have a parked vehicle in your lane, or something that probably just drifted into your lane, stuff like that. So can it detect all of that as well? Can it differentiate between, say, a staggered riding mode or a solo riding mode, and maybe the rider is sort of enjoying the sport riding, and then it needs to be probably more alert all the time. Does it do all of these things?
Exactly. So the intelligence bit behind this is what basically we are focusing on. The radar can see a lot of things. Now, how can we make sense of all these things to figure out what the rider is intending to do and what is safe to do? So this is where we get in Bosch intelligence and make it safe and enjoyable to ride.
Okay. And one final question is, at the moment we have seen that ADAS initially debuted with the more luxury segments, but very quickly it adapted to even smaller vehicles, and now you have a sub 4 meter car that also comes with ADAS. Of course, the systems are different; these are camera-based systems, etc. But do you also see ADAS or ARAS very quickly becoming accessible to even the smaller motorcycles? Because I gather that with so much to do and so much to compute at a motorcycle speed, of course, you need faster computers, faster chips, and all of that, which may not really make sense on a smaller motorcycle. So, do you think this technology could become accessible anytime soon?
We do believe safety is not restricted to either displacement or cost of the vehicle. So we are working towards getting it into the mass production vehicle, where now another complexity adds in, where educating the customers is also a big thing, where people as of today, most of them don't even know what it does. So most of them are not even aware of the ABS which are there on the
Correct.
mass level segment, which is saving their lives on a daily basis. So we are working on the education bit of it as well.
Okay.
So once it enters the mass segment, the costs are also going to go down, and it will be more affordable.
Right. Thank you so much, Avinash, for speaking to us. And those were some really good insights on ARAS. And I hope all of you learned something new today. Thank you so much for watching Overdrive. Stay tuned to the other automotive content that we are bringing to you from the Bharat Mobility Expo.